What's up, y'all? This is, I think it's like, what, the fourth episode?
Episode 4.
Episode 4. Well, actually, I don't even know if this is going to be episode. Whatever it is, it's going to be an episode. But this is another episode of Good Grief with Auntie Byrd. And I told y'all the last time that I was going to start having guests on. And I have 2 people that I've known for more than half of my life now, actually. They really mean a lot to me, and then their stories mean even more to me. But I'll let y'all introduce yourselves first, and then we'll kind of get into what's going on. Y'all probably seen this face before for sure with me on another podcast, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Once again, I'm Michi Million. What's going on, y'all? Michi.
My name Carlos, for everybody that know me personally, but you might see me perform and all that. I go by Skipper Jones as well.
Superstar. He was a superstar. But I don't want to tell y'all stories, and then we can keep the convo between us. We don't even have to. They cool on the camera, but we ain't got to look at them like that.
Got it.
But I know we know each other, and like I don't want to get into your stories, but I did want to make sure that this podcast kind of represented men in a different light, and both of you guys have lost your children, lost a child before, and I just kind of want to like tap into that story because, like I told y'all earlier, like I don't feel like men I don't hear that voice from men very often. So that's the reason why I have you guys on. And I said it off camera, but on camera, like I really do appreciate y'all like sitting down and being open and vulnerable to discuss, you know, what it feels like or what it is and what you're going through. So thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
No problem, no problem.
So
Absolutely.
I kind of do just want to like pop it off. Like, if y'all want to share something about like your story, just a little bit without going too in depth with it, as far as like losing your child, like how old the child was, and then we can kind of segue into that because I just know it's kind of touchy. Regardless, whatever you want to say, you can say whatever you don't, and it is what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
My son's name was Ashton. His name is Ashton.
Yeah.
He passed away. We just made his 3-year anniversary of his passing back on the 6th.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I cried earlier this week.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in Walmart. I'm just doing regular stuff people be doing, grocery shopping, and then it just hit me. I just had a talk with Jay. I was like, man, it's 3 years, and she was like, damn, it's 3 years. I'm
Damn.
like, yeah. And I hung up the phone, and I'm like, bro, keep it together. Get home. It's pouring down, raining, and I'm just sitting in the driveway, and I'm just crying for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It just hit you in waves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I know that.
That's how it affected me.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So my son's name was Demetrius Hill III. I would say a little bit opposite of Los. Like my emotions kind of more towards anger. So I actually never cried, but one time since he passed away. But most of them, my anger comes from like lashing out. You know what I mean, or actually put myself into more work.
Yeah.
So when I start feeling like thinking about him or start feeling like I'm missing him, I just start doing stuff to kind of like keep me busy.
Yeah.
So that way I don't have to feel that emotion or think about that.
Yeah. Do y'all feel like as men, because like I said earlier, I don't know, I just never hear, like you hear about moms losing children often, and I just really never hear like a man's part of the story, especially like 2 active fathers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, do y'all feel like you've had the space to do that, or do you feel like do you have the space to grieve the way that you want to grieve, or do you feel like dads aren't supposed to? Like,
I would just kind of like piggyback off that, like men, really black men, we don't really have like safe space to really kind of talk about it. And then when you kind of talk to your friends about it, they understand, but they really don't understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't kind of like, and I would just say like in our community, like, you know what I mean, we don't really talk about that type of stuff, 'cause we're like, oh man, my boy gonna man up, he got this, you know what I mean? We don't go back and like double back like, hey, you straight,
good?
you know what I mean, you need anything?
Yeah.
We don't really do that, so it kind of leave us like, all right, let me just take some time in the car to myself.
Yeah.
You know, put my
like you gotta
put my
man
music
it
on.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to segue from that, well, on topic, I agree. You know, when it first happens, of course, you know those phone calls are coming in.
Yeah, I always say that.
You don't need them phone calls until them phone calls stop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even with you losing both of your parents in 1 year, you know what I mean. I still try to make time, whether it's with you or both. Hey, you good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean. How you feeling? You know what I mean. It's just, you know what I mean. Like you never know. How you gonna feel at any given moment?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Whether it's through anger, because I was angry at first. I was pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of my love for him just took over, and I just be thinking like, God, man, you know what I mean? I'm never gonna be able to experience this with him. Never gonna be able to experience that.
Yeah. I feel like I had I talked about it last episode, but like I had that moment too where it's like, and I don't know if it's constant for y'all losing a child, but I feel like, damn, like I ain't never gonna experience like certain things, like other milestones in my life. Like I won't be able to experience those things like with my parents. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
one of the things I kind of like piggyback off what you were saying. Like to me, my son is Trey.
Yeah.
So like, dang, he got my name and he's supposed to bury me. Like I'm burying him.
Yeah.
Like so that kind of one of them things. Like damn, man. Like
Not to mention it was your birthday.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, man. You know, that's one of the fuck. I ain't even think about it. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just one of them things. Like every time you think about it, shit like fuck that shit ain't fair, man.
Yeah.
It ain't fair, man.
Yeah. Do y'all feel like y'all hold like anger? 'Cause I don't know. I it's still new to me. I don't know if this shit ever gets old.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like sometimes I hold anger towards things and people. But like either like initially when it happened or as it's happening, do y'all hold anger towards yourself or like people around you, or do you feel like you hold anger towards the people who are not supporting you in certain ways, like, or just and it could be sporadic, like it doesn't have to be.
It could be for me. It could be a little bit more random. I like I said, I can't speak for those, but more than my thing is sometimes I kind of get mad at my spouse.
Yeah.
And she don't deserve that, nothing like that. But it could be kind of like, you know what I mean, just situations just random because you don't really know how to kind of communicate your frustrations or your understanding of this, because like life is delicate within itself. So to see a new life that don't even get a real opportunity, it's kind of like, dang, like what you supposed to do?
Yeah. I brought up anger too, and you let me know if you don't want to talk about it. But I just remember, you know, when it happened, I know a couple of us came to the hospital, but I do remember like a little bit of the aftermath. And now that I'm in the space that I'm in, I get where you were coming from as far as like, I feel like y'all wasn't there for me how y'all was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will say you did express that to us, like.
And you know what I mean, and I wasn't gonna talk about it, but you're absolutely right. Like I was mad at y'all for sure, cause it's like the closest people that know me, like people that know me since I was kids, couldn't really be there for me. I didn't feel like, and it could have been more of a little selfish thing. I didn't feel like y'all sacrificed enough to be there with me in that moment when I felt like, dang, like.
What you mean, like
I feel like doing either like the leading up or right after, like I feel like, hey, what my village at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We went through this battle together. We've been through many battles together. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Damn.
I just remember you being like very vocal about how you felt, like, and now that I'm in this space, like I felt that way multiple times, like, and some of it's like, well, some people don't know how to show up in a way, and then others is like, well, you know what, they didn't know, you know what I'm saying?
Some
like,
people just scared. They don't know when they reach out, because I remember at the time I was working at the Shepherd Center. It was this one girl, she was a nurse, her name was Jasmine. She was real cool, and she would always ask the other nurse, can I talk to him? Like, is he okay? Like, and this is, you know what I mean? I had took months off and I came back to work. Like I said, it happened in March. By this time, it's maybe July, August. I'm still mourning, but I'm able to talk. I'm still able to be who I am.
Yeah.
So she was afraid to approach me and be like, "Hey, are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
you know what's going on?" Even scared to just say, "How you doing?" So sometimes people just be scared to approach you because they don't know how you feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that might be sometimes that may be what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
people don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And then just being real, some people just selfish.
That's true.
Just being real.
That's fact.
That's true.
You know?
I also feel like it's one of those things where you don't know until it's your turn.
To use your
Fact.
time.
You know,
yeah.
and I pray. I always say, I pray like nobody feels this for a very long time. You know,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine like
Yeah.
losing a child. Like that is, I don't know.
I mean, I
I can't
wouldn't.
imagine.
I couldn't compare it to losing a parent because, by the grace of God, my parents are still here.
You good?
My dad, my mom and my dad, they came close to losing a child,
Yeah.
so they could explain it to me. They, my brother was shot. Y'all know this. My brother,
Yeah.
he was shot, and he almost died, but he didn't. And I would talk to my dad about it. He was like, yeah, man, you know, it's just sometimes I sit up there and I blame myself. You got people that blame themselves.
I was gonna
I
ask
blame
y'all that.
myself.
Do you
know what I
blame
mean?
yourself?
I did in the
Yeah,
beginning.
most definitely.
Because I feel like I could have made certain choices where it could have been prevented.
Yeah.
But you know, you never know what God got for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jay even told me, she was like, I could sit up and blame anybody. She just told me, she said, I blamed you. I blame such and such, such and such. I could blame everybody all day long, but at the end of the day, God got for you what he got for you.
Are you comfortable with that? Like, I always say, like, my higher self, if I'm vibrating higher, like, I do understand, like, that plane. But here on this earth, like, are you comfortable with that whole sentiment that, like, what God got for you, God got for you? Like,
And I don't know how you probably feel. 'Cause I know you normally more calmer than me.
Yeah.
I don't honestly. Nah, I wouldn't fucking with it. I
Yeah.
won't lie to
Yeah.
you. Cause I was like,
agree.
I literally was like, God, like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I switched pace with him. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, most definitely.
Especially when it come to your son,
Yeah.
your child.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. When they was like, the one thing I hate when shit like this happens is people say it's gonna be all right. And you be wanting to hit like, bro, shut the fuck
shut
up.
the fuck
That's
up.
the wrong
No, the
thing
You know what I'm
fuck
saying?
is not.
Because like that's the wrong thing to say.
It's
It's not
not.
gonna be
Yeah.
all
It's
right.
not.
Now you can say you can heal from it,
Yeah.
but you don't truly heal from it.
Yeah.
You just learn how to carry it. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like I like what you said. I feel like more people should say, and I can't tell people what to say, but I
Right.
always feel like people should say, if you need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Even
that-
if it's a lie.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
even if it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
Cause I remember, and I just say this, me and Los, we always been close, and we had our own issue. But like when that situation happened for him, I immediately reached out.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
I remember that.
I had to like. You know what I mean? I had just lost my son probably like the year before.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, man, nah.
yeah.
Gotta send that text. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you got it no matter what people going through. You got to be genuine at any time no matter what's going on. Like, you got to be there for people. Even when people don't know they need you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I say that too. People, like, sometimes don't be afraid to reach out to people you ain't heard from in a while. You know, anything
Yeah.
like that. Like, sometimes just... You know, do that sometimes because you just never know how that'll help people. Because I know when I would get messages like that, they ain't like, oh man, like, you know what I mean? I needed it.
I was about to say, I know you said it earlier, and it's bounced off what both of y'all said. I realized, like what you said, like when people calling, like you don't need the calls until they stop. And what I was realizing was that even if I didn't pick up the phone, I still wanted people to call and check on me. But I noticed who checked on me, but I definitely noticed who did not call
Yeah.
and like check on me. You know what I'm saying? Like
It make your relationship a lot different with those people going forward. It's kind of realized like, dang, we kind of talk almost every day about going out.
yeah.
But when
Or bullshit
Yeah.
or kicking,
Kicking,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But when it comes to like some real shit in your life,
they disappear.
Yeah, they
which
just-
made
yeah.
me ask, like, want to ask y'all, even now, like, do you feel supported, like, in your grief, or like, what? If you do, what does that look like? And if you don't, what can people do to like support?
That's a good question. Support in my grief. I can go back to the way Meat said. Like,
Wait, y'all acknowledged that y'all grieving first?
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
To piggyback off what Meat said, as a black man, we don't necessarily, we have more space now than we did then.
Yeah.
But we're not used to it, so we still don't go into it. Like, I ain't picking up the phone, hey, Bill, bro, I need to talk to you about such and such. You know what I mean? None of that. I did go to therapy. I did get therapy.
Most definitely, I did.
And it did help, and it helped me, because and this is when I was angry. This is my anger. It helped me deal with stuff that went deeper than what actually happened to Ash. It was stuff that stems from my relationship with my mama, my relationship with just life in general. You know what I mean? Like, therapy is very much necessary. Even a podcast like this, dealing with, you know, you're on the line of mental health. You know what I mean? You know, we don't, as black people, we didn't grow up like that. We all grew up in the hood. We grew up around the corner from one another. So
I used to jump the fence kind of.
You know what I'm saying? So when we go through stuff as kids, as men, is man up. Of course, you're gonna coddle the little girl, but the boy, man up, man, stop crying about this shit. Nigga, that shit happened last week. You okay, but you don't know how that shit affect that child. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can carry that shit on through their life.
So if you want to talk about it, you don't. But you bringing that up, when I was going through, well, I'm still going through, and I still get things kind of pulled up from like childhood, because like losing somebody, you start grieving other things that you lost. You get what I'm saying? Like, what are some things that you felt like the loss of your child brought up from your childhood?
Abandonment issues, family. You know what I mean? Like, the word family is so taboo.
It's
like,
used loosely.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I
when
feel
you say
like
abandonment issues, like, in
so
what way?
Basically, like, RP to my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I feel like, dang, like, I wish, you know what I mean, when I was a kid, that he was around a little bit more.
Yeah.
But before he passed, like, even doing when my son died, my dad was with me like down there every other day.
Yeah.
And you know, he would give me words or whatever he could give me. You know what I mean? To this day, I really appreciate that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, it could be moments that I'm like, dang, I wish, you know what I mean, we had those moments that we could sit down like, hey, son, whoop whoop. But we ain't had it till I kind of got older. Yeah. So, you know what I mean, it'll bring up issues like that, if that kind of makes sense to y'all.
Yeah.
For me, it brought up fear, because that was the biggest fear that I had growing up, is getting older and actually losing a child.
Yeah.
That was my biggest fear, and I lived it. It got to a point where I almost committed suicide. Like, I'm sitting at work. This is what made me go to therapy. So I'm sitting at work. I had, these are the months I took off after Ashton passing. I go back to work. My homie, his name Dwayne, he made sure, like, I was good. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He broke me out like some bread or whatever. Like some mob shit. Nigga came to the burial with a fat ass envelope full of bread. You know what I mean? Shout out to my nigga Dwayne. I love you, boy.
Shout out to Dwayne.
But he ended up getting fired. So, and this is
said Dwayne being it like that.
He don't care. That's my nigga. That's my nigga. He ended up getting let go. So he was the only guy that I was with every single day when I'm at work. You know what I mean? And he knew what I was going through, because I talked to him every single day. And when he got let go, it was like I had nobody else to talk to that day. So I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling everybody. Nobody's answering the phone. I calling my daddy like 4 or 5 times. Normally he answer. If he not answering that first time, he calling me right back. Yeah. Nobody's answering the phone. I'm calling my brother. I know he at home, but he ain't answering. I'm like, fuck, man, damn. I said, fuck it. I don't know how people live with this pain. I can't do it. Yeah. I got a gun. I kept a pistol in my car. I said, man, I'm finna go to the parking deck and I'm finna end it now. I'm through with it. I'm done. Yeah. I can't deal with it. Yeah. And at that moment, I just started praying. I was like, God, just remove this spirit off of me. Yeah. Like, for real. I don't know how spiritual everybody is, but that was a play-by-play of what was going on in my head. And immediately, I just felt that spirit off of me. I felt like, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go get help. Yeah. I went to go talk to my manager. And she was like, she gave me the numbers from, you know, because with employees, they give you numbers and stuff for therapy, FMLA, all that stuff. Yeah. So she gave me all these resources that I didn't even know that was accessible to me. Yeah. And she walked me through the whole thing, and I got therapy. And I mean, I can't say I wasn't as angry, but once I got through therapy, I was a lot less angry and a little bit more compassionate, and I thought a little bit more wisely. Like, bro, you got other kids.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And I think kind of like big out what you said about therapy. I didn't really know a lot about myself until I probably went to therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you get, of course, we got the conversation when you have with the crew. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But when you have a conversation with somebody on the outside, kind of like you get a window like, oh shit, I actually grew up kind of fucked up. And
Yeah.
Cause see, I said the same thing, like, and that's what I mean by it was deeper than losing him. It was when she started asking me questions. She was like, "Oh, you trying to fill this void with this, or you doing this with that?" And I'm like, "God damn."
First of all, bitch, get out my bed. And
Yeah. But it's like you know me, but you don't really know me. It'd be. Them folk got a real goddamn talent. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Wait, were y'all therapists younger or older? This is kind of off subject.
I had a OG. I had like an older black guy.
Oh, okay.
I had a female. She was probably like late 30s.
Oh, I mean, I tried to go to therapy. I had 3 different therapists through my grieving. None of them were older than 40, and I was like, moving forward, I kind of want an older.
You kind of biased to therapists.
I'm not. Well, now I am.
Okay.
Only because. This side note, real quick. This side story, like one of my therapists cried in my session. I was like, "Bitch, I'm paying you for this. What the fuck wrong with you?
I'm telling you, better dry that shit up."
Like nobody, but everybody also was. I feel like this is when therapy kind of like jumped on the wave, like everybody mental health. So I feel like shit, they was on. And I'm just like, nah, they hoes ain't helping me. Like, they think they trying to get real cool with me. Bitch, I am fucked up.
I'm going through it.
I'm going through it. And you want to kiki and smile.
Nah.
Are you laughing at my shit? Okay,
I
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
with that. My therapist went with. This was before all of that. Like it was kind of like at the beginning of the mental health thing. And I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and just go to therapy, see what it's like to talk to somebody on the outside. Yeah. And she made me dig deep and be like, oh yeah, you're holding on to this, that, and the third.
That's uncomfortable. Like,
that's another thing people don't talk about. Finding a good therapist.
Yeah. You don't know.
That shit's uncomfortable.
You gotta interview them too.
Yeah, for real. I need to have some therapists on here because y'all need some therapy too.
Yeah.
But okay, so both y'all brought up y'all kids. I want to know, like, how has this affected like your relationship? The first question is, how has this affected your relationships with your children? Because both of you guys have other children outside of this. So, like, in the beginning, what did that look like for you showing up for them as fathers? And now, what does it look like?
That's a good question.
For me, when everything happened, 3 of my kids was there. And
like when it happened?
Yeah, when everything happened, when he passed, 3 of them was there. Lil Cam, my daughter Erin, and my son Logan. Logan and Ashton was like this because they were a year apart. And it was for them for a long time. They would, they'll cry just off the cusp. They'll just start crying. Yeah. Cam, no, he still haven't cried, but that's what worries me because he ain't show no, like his uncle. Yeah. He ain't show no emotion. You know what I mean? But I still try to show up and be there, like ask them questions. Now, a lot of the stuff, that we go to. Yeah, we go to the cemetery, we visit him, and they'll say, I miss Ash and all this, that, and the third. And but it's like they're learning how to carry it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not as depressing as it was. I mean, it is, but for them, it's just, I was able to experience my brother, and I love him. I'll remember him how he was.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like that. I do have another son, Grayson. Jay was actually pregnant at the time of Ashton passing, so he was born 2 months after. And if you look at him and you look at Ash, same person, acts the same, talks the same, do everything the exact same way.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say it's like we never lost him, but it's just crazy.
I think that's called like a rainbow kid.
Yeah, it's called a rainbow kid.
Yeah.
Do you feel like because this is a question for both of y'all. Like, do you feel like you weren't able to be were you able to be like that father figure to them going through what had just happened? And it's just from like your standpoint, like.
Honestly, probably not. I was still like a very active dad, but I didn't understand my kids' trauma going through it. Like my daughter, saying like, Autumn, she's very like spiritual, so she always be like, hey, make sure you guys acknowledge my brother.
Yeah.
Like she always say, you know what I mean, I can probably have dinner or something. We could be having dinner. She'd be like, hey, don't forget to put my brother in there.
Yeah.
So she went through a very tough time more than anything. And then of course Chase, he kind of rebelled a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he was missing his brother, so it was kind of like a missing link for them. So they kind of had to have somebody to talk to as well. So we kind of got them some counseling as well, because I didn't know like what kind of trauma kids went through with this, because it's like it's a missing person that they seen, and basically the person don't exist no more. So it's kind of like where that person at?
Yeah.
So it's something that I kind of learned like, oh, I got to step up in a different way.
Yeah.
So I say that's kind of like what I had to learn how to do, learn how to actually cater to more of their feelings a little bit, to try to understand what they need from me.
Was it tough, or is it tough even having like your kids who are here around? Like, how often do you go back to them spaces and be like, damn, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be
I do it
this
all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Facts.
I remember we was out to eat, and Aaron and Logan came up and they gave me a hug, and I'm still like, I'm reaching for them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be three of them. Even when they take pictures, it's a space in that picture.
Yeah.
I see that space.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It just, you never forget it. You know what I'm saying? It's always right there. Like now he will be 5. He be getting ready to go to pre-K in the fall. And it feel like it's just that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it first happened, I'm thinking he's at somebody's house, because somebody always had him. You know what I mean? He was just, everybody just always had him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, somebody gonna bring him home eventually.
Yeah. I remember, and it still happens to me now, but I remember maybe like 3 or 4 months after like my mom passed away, and something happened. I usually like call my mom, like, girl, I pick up the phone, and something happened, and I was like, oh, let me call that girl and tell her what happened, and it hit me then like, oh shit, like, nah, you can't.
It make you break down.
Yeah, it's
bit.
like, no, like that don't happen. It's like seeing like this little missing piece, like, no, that can't, that's not happening anymore. It's a little tough. I don't know. I can't imagine losing. I don't know. I just couldn't imagine like losing a child.
I can't say I compare the two, because we was grown. We grew up knowing that we're gonna bury our parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We never knew when we was kids, 9th, 10th grade. We didn't know we was gonna be sitting down having this conversation about burying our child.
Yeah.
Correct.
We didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that shit hit different.
It hit different.
Yeah.
It hit different.
Yeah.
Even though, as a child losing a parent, it's still as
It's tough.
traumatizing.
Yeah, it
You know
is.
what I mean?
It is tough. It is tough. And then, if you want to talk about it, you can. But I did want to kind of like segue into like, you. First of all, this whole connection is weird, because technically y'all are related in some kind of way. Like your son is his nephew.
Yeah.
And all of this, so it's
My
like
stepkid's dad is his brother.
Right.
Correct.
So,
But we was brothers before I met
exactly,
his brother.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We're all friends here. We do this together. Well,
Not
this.
that, because it's 2024.
We do this together. I mean to say we're family. That's what it is. I mean,
It's 2024 now. There's a lot of weird shit going on.
Words got to be right.
I'm sorry. You got to be a little careful. How does this like in the beginning, how was the relationship between, because both of y'all are still engaged and married to the mother of your children, so it's like, how was the relationship between you and your spouses then, like when it initially happened, and like now, do y'all discuss it, do y'all talk about it, like what's the energy around it now?
I would say probably like at the beginning, probably not great at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Losing the child, losing the son, and you know what I mean, you still got to go back and live real life. You still got to go to work.
Their life should still be happening.
Yeah, you still got to do this. You still got to take care of other kids. You know what I mean? So I would just say my life was probably at the beginning very in shambles, very lonely, and then towards now it's kind of a little bit more easy, a little bit more able to be a little bit more communicated and talk about it more openly.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the beginning it was, I would just say, terrible. No communication. You know, you wanted to talk, they wanted to talk, but nah, it wasn't great communication, I would say.
Was it still like a blame game in the beginning, or was it?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a blame game. I'd just say more like, what do you say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine was, like I said in the beginning, it was like I was sad, then I was angry, then I was sad again. But I was also mixed with sadness and anger. Like, I was heated because of the simple fact that the situation that we was in at that time, I kept explaining to my wife, like, yo, I just want my family. I don't want nobody else around us. I just want us. And it's too many people. It's too many energies right now. And I felt like that right there, I was ready to be like, you know what? I don't even want to be with you no more because you're not hearing me. You know what I mean? And I think as a man in a relationship, sometimes we don't feel like we're heard, especially when it comes to emotions. So when we telling you we feel like this or we feel like that, and y'all cancel it out like, okay, well, I feel like this. You know what I mean? I feel like this when you do that. Okay, I hear you, but are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as the man of the house, my feelings can pop out and I can lash out at anybody in the house. You know what I mean? Because they always have this saying, happy wife, happy life. But she ain't happy if he ain't. Yeah. Because he gonna piss you off because he's not happy, because he's stressed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in the beginning for us, like, I just felt like I wasn't heard. Yeah. I felt like I was like, okay, nigga, we know you lost a child, but she lost. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, is this not both our kids?
Yeah. And
this kid is named after my daddy.
Yeah.
He has my last name. Like,
this kid is a third. Like,
this is a third. You know what I'm saying? So, like, is this not my child? Like, is my feelings not valid? You know what I mean? So it kind of make you, like, cancel out and just be like, you know what? I'm going to just go on autoplane mode and I'm going to just go to work, go home. I ain't going to say nothing to nobody. I'm just going to shut out.
Yeah.
You know
as a dad, I kind of, it's kind of like,
cry. I don't want to cry.
Yeah.
But that's a lot just to hear it from me.
Like,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
how I felt.
Yeah.
I knew I still had to show up for my kids because seeing them feel how they feel and not be able to make them feel better, that shit hurt me even worse. Yeah. So,
but it's like nobody's making you feel better because ain't nobody listening to you.
Yeah, so I have to put on this facade and make them feel good. You know what I mean? Like, we went after a month after it happened, we went to Disney on Ice, and we took pictures, and you can see the sadness in my kid's face. We're at Disney on Ice. Every kid want to be here, and I can see the sadness on y'all face. You know what I mean? Like, that right there, those moments right there just killed me. So, not that you can buy a kid or anything like that, but for Christmas that year, because Ashton's birthday is 2 days after Christmas, so every year at Christmas I'm just fucked up anyway. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Have whatever y'all want. Yeah, I'm willing to go into debt for whatever amount. Get whatever you want because y'all been through it this year. Yeah. Y'all really been through it. Yes, we gained a brother and we also gained an angel at the same time, but
it's just a lot though.
It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So everybody doing good in school, everybody doing what they supposed to do.
Even if you won.
Even if you won.
Even if you won.
Have it. I'll deal with it later. So
do you feel like you're being heard now? Either by your spouses or by your friends, like honestly, generally.
Honestly, we don't really talk about it as much. You know what I mean? Family wise, we don't talk about it, and friends wise, I mean, we don't really talk about it as much like we used to. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think now this is kind of one of the times that probably me and you don't first talked about it in probably like in years. Yeah.
I know. Like, we talk about dad. Yeah.
Because when I lost my dad and then you lost your mom right there at the same time. So I lost my dad first. Yeah. And then a couple months you lost your mama. So with me and you kind of was together probably pretty much almost every day. Yeah. For probably like the last. I mean, we've been really close together since both our parents died since then. So, know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, I just pop up or you just pop up.
Yeah.
But
As far as a kid, yeah, you right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah, no. I mean, if people don't ask me, I don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like if like what can men do or what can people do to like hear men more, like hear this side of the story more? Because you just saying like, yeah, everybody kind of going up to because this is what I see, like everybody go up to the woman and as they should, like
she carried them, so
she's
she's
very connected to this
Not
human.
only in this situation, even in divorce.
Yeah.
They going to the woman.
Correct.
Yeah.
In a breakup, they going to the woman.
Want to hear her
Chris
side.
Brown and Rihanna, who they went to? Rihanna. They don't know what she did to this man.
Yeah.
Not to say that, you know.
No, but no, it's real. It's real time. It's real.
They go to the woman first, not knowing that sometimes the woman be at fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never know. When it comes to men, it's always he gonna thug it out, or that nigga had to do something for her to leave, or whatever. That's just how society is set up.
We're gonna be at fault.
You at fault the day you born.
Yeah.
So
So
by default, we kind of learn how to be like the men to be all right. I mean, and it's just who they are.
But in this sense, though, the men can't be all right though. Like,
but we have to thug it out.
Yeah, you do. But
Because when you got, like, my granddaddy was the type of dude. My daddy tell me stories about my granddad all the time, and he was like, man, we used to sit down, we'd watch Sanford and Son, and we can't even laugh. My granddaddy was not with that bullshit.
Damn.
Man, nigga, you better not laugh, nigga, I'm trying to watch TV. But it's funny.
It's funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my daddy would tell me stories like that. I don't know if it's true or not. My granddad always been cool
but
with me.
still, like the whole sentiment around it.
But my granddad was just that strong type dude. He was in the military, so he never really I ain't never seen my granddad cry ever. I don't think I've ever seen my daddy cry. Maybe once, twice, when my cousin passed and when my brother got shot. Other than that, it's just a man's man. Cause like, bro, the world ain't gonna give a fuck about your feelings.
Yeah,
you can cry and then move on.
Do you cry often? Do y'all cry often?
I used to.
Yeah.
But like I said, it hit me in waves. So just the other day I cried. His birthday in December. I may have shed a tear here or there, but not as much as I used to.
Yeah. Do you cry often?
Probably not. I'm mourn to cry, but honestly, I grew up kind of like not having my family not really like that type of emotional type family, so crying is something that I'm not really used to.
Yeah.
Even now, kind of like with my kids, I'm trying to change that a little bit because I know sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'm repeating the same cycle.
Yeah.
But honestly, I really don't know how to cry. I probably haven't cried in years.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So like I told you, like I dive deep into work normally when I start feeling sad. When I feel like what I call, and it's just the way I grew up, I kind of feel like it's a weak point of view. Like, oh man, I'm being weak. But it's not, but it's not being weak at all. Like, you know what I mean? A therapist actually told me I need to learn how to communicate my emotions to be able to release that. You know, releasing those thoughts sometimes can release some of that anger that you have in you know what I mean?
I feel like over the past like year or two, I feel like I've seen you become more emotionally aware, and I feel like you've communicated to the best of your ability how you want to be treated or how you're feeling to, and I'll just speak for me. I feel like you've expressed it to me a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know, and you probably right over the last couple of years, because I would say, and Carlos probably can communicate on this as well, I always been the asshole friend. Like
you love to put this title on you.
But I mean,
I think that was me though.
I would just say because I kind of like, I didn't used to think before I said anything. That's kind of where I'm going with it. Like I would always be like, just speak instead of kind of hearing y'all out before knowing what the actual.
So you want to get your point across.
Yeah. So I kind of learned sometimes like, hey, listen to what people are saying to you, so that way you can kind of actually know what the conversation is about, so that way we can actually kind of communicate and elaborate and actually work on whatever we got going on, instead of just saying, nah, just hit me like I know I'm right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was that type of person. I was always known right type of person. So last couple of years, I kind of realized reevaluating my friendship, like family, everything like that. I had to learn how to be like, I'm at fault, so that way I need to be able to, if I'm trying to keep these people in my life, I need to learn how to hear them out a little bit better.
Yeah. Dang, I want to ask y'all more questions, but I also like the podcast not to go over like too long.
Hey,
But
You can cut it up and do whatever you need.
I
bro.
can like chop this. I can chop it in a
Or
way
you can
that I
just
wanna
use some
chop
of
it.
for promo stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say I don't like to go too long, but I do have like a couple other questions that I did want to ask y'all. One question that I wanted to ask is, oh no, I asked y'all, do y'all feel supported now and what you feel with your spouse? I asked you earlier, like, have y'all acknowledged that you're grieving? If you have, is it the same thing that you thought grief would be when other people spoke on grief? And then if you haven't, like, what's stopping you from acknowledging?
What I learned from grieving is everybody's different.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody grief is different. Meat goes into work, you know what I mean, and you throw yourself into work. Me personally, I just sit in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's grief is different. You know, Jay, she do the same thing. She throw herself into work. You know what I mean? A week after the funeral, pregnant and all, still going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people, that's what I learned. People grief are different. You know what I mean? A lot of people express, you know what I mean? A lot of artists paint. A lot of people write music. A lot of people do that stuff because that's where a lot of the best material come from is grief.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I'm working on this project with Black Metaphor.
Yeah.
And
Shout out.
Shout out to my dog Black Metaphor. And this project came from grief. A lot of it, started with grief. So a lot of the earlier songs that I did, if I let y'all hear them, you'll hear the difference from the ones that I did then 3 years ago and the ones that are being added now. You're like, oh, damn, he in a better space, but you can still tell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I learned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
same
acknowledge
thing.
your grief?
Yeah. I acknowledge grief, but like I just said, same thing. Like I didn't know what grief looked like. I just thought people cry. You know what I mean? So me learning that people can be smiling, and people can actually be like, let me do more for people during grieving. Sometimes people want to throw themselves into helping, you know what I mean, or angry or anything like that. I just didn't know what grief looked like. So seeing it coming from myself is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Grief hit different.
Yeah. Do y'all feel like y'all could, as men right now, do you feel like this has changed your perspective on how you're supposed to show up as a man to your family and to yourself?
Me personally, I still show it the same way. Like I told you earlier, like I love when when people welcome us to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because when I went through what I went through, I didn't know how many people around me was going through it. I had so many guys walk up to me like, man, I know what you're going through because I went through this. My son would have been 30 now.
Yeah.
I had a lady from Piedmont come to me, man. My daughter would have been 24. I have another friend. She just told me that she went through it with her daughter as well. So you never know how many people are going through it around you. So I welcome the conversation. Anytime somebody want to talk to me about it, I talk to them about it. And because I worked in the emergency room. Yeah. And there's a lot of parents in there that I had to have that conversation with. Yeah. Because I'm showing them, I worked in the exact emergency room where my son passed. You know what I mean? So every day I'm wearing
even
it.
Now?
Not now. I work at the corporate building now, but at that time, I had so many women coming in there complaining and this, that, and the third. I'm like, ma'am, my son passed away right over there in that trauma room. You are grateful for your child to be in here with the flu, a bump, cut, bruise, because your baby finna walk out of here. Learn to be grateful. Facts. And then shut all that down. But you know what I mean? It's a learning experience for me.
And I say, and this kind of one of the things I end with, I'll say, when you in that moment, you don't know how to appreciate people a little bit too. You know what I mean? I definitely want to shout out people who like, you know, when it was time to bury my son, like everybody came out the woodworks. Like I don't even think I had to even pay for the funeral. So like people like Ray, Raymond, Bill, you like, you know what I mean? Everybody came like, dang, like, so that, you know what I mean? So people who wasn't there physically, they showed with, you know what I mean, in donation or whatever they could do at the time. And I still do appreciate that. I never not told people that, but I always say thank you, and I appreciate y'all for, you know what I mean, being there for me in that moment.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate y'all for like really like talking about it. And I know it's some things we want to share, but like even just kind of like sharing bits and pieces of y'all stories, I feel like it's kind of like needed in general. And I really do appreciate y'all for coming on the show.
And for everybody, I just want everybody to understand that this podcast isn't specifically just because you sad.
No, not
it
at all.
ain't about that, because I don't want you to have that stigma on you. Like, oh no, they just said all.
I swear to God, I just said that.
That's why I said it, because I saw your last one.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I don't think that it's just sad. This is part of mental health.
Yeah,
correct.
Everybody grieves, so if you think you by yourself in it, holler at Byrd, man. That's all I say.
Safe
It's
place.
a safe space.
or holler at each other.
Find you somebody you can console in, somebody who truly understands you.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to sympathize, but they can empathize.
Yeah.
And and even if they sympathize, that's even better. Y'all can cry together. Sometimes it brings tears, sometimes it don't. But just know that this podcast ain't just because niggas just sitting around crying.
Yeah.
Nah, because we ain't cried today.
Nah.
Wait, hold on. Before we get off, because let's end with a higher note, because I like the way you just said it. Because that was my last clip. I was like, God damn, I hope nigga don't think I'm sad all the time. But some shit just happened, though. But how are you moving forward in life now? Like, on a brighter note.
Now, on a more brighter note, I just use my my pain for triumph. Like now, I kind of like, I'm a way better father. Like, you know what I mean? After my son died, I had twins. So, you know what I mean? So now I learned how to be emotionally available.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I would just say now, learning through pain, like just being better, like a way better person than I was at 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And and to piggyback off what Meat said, as a great parent, you know what I mean, just showing up more. I'm trying to be more active. I'm already an active parent, but I just try to do more. You know what I mean? My daughter want to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the kitchen. You know what I mean?
You be cooking?
Man, what? Jay don't cook. How you think I got this big? I be chefing it up, man. I be cooking for real. But yeah, man, just
I be cooking for real.
Yeah, man. Look, hey, you stop playing. Huh? Hey.
Just bring me a plate in.
Yeah. But yeah, just learning to appreciate people more, appreciate life, because I feel like I took my son's life for granted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just learning to appreciate people even more, appreciate my kids, appreciate my wife, appreciate just life in general. You know what I mean? Because everybody got an expiration date.
Yeah.
Everybody, and you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like even still, prior to when you asked me to be on the podcast, and you was like, "How you and me?" I said, "Man, last time I talked to me, I told me I love him."
Yeah.
That was at Kyron's birthday party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Even when we was at Jamari's party.
Yeah.
I told bro, I said, bro, no matter what it is, you still my brother. I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, no matter what it is.
Versa.
Yeah. So it just learning.
Big ups too.
Shut up. It just learning to appreciate life more, appreciate friends, even if y'all don't talk to them all the time. I'm just appreciative.
Yeah, I think now for me, like, because death is very real for me now. Like, I know this shit can happen at any moment, at any time.
Look how many people we went to school with that gone.
Yeah, nah, for real.
Yeah. We the new aunties and uncles.
Nah, for real. Y'all definitely the uncles. But now I'm like, anytime people call, I do my best to pick up. If I can't pick up, I won't. But like, it used to be a time where I just kind of took for granted, like, oh no, I could just call them back later on.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You definitely.
Yeah, I'm getting better at that.
She still do that, yeah.
But I'm getting better though. It's like, I remember I was in Mexico, in Will Rider. But I was in Mexico last year, and I was staying with my homeboy because he lived down there. I had to get away, y'all. So I packed my shit up and I left like on a Tuesday. I said I'm gone. Went down there and stayed with him, and we were just talking. His phone was ringing. Oh no, my phone was ringing, and I was like, I don't really want to talk right now. And then he said to me, he was like, you know what? Actually, when anybody call, I do my best to pick up the phone because that means somebody's thinking about you. And he was like, it's gonna be one day where they can't think about you no more because they ain't gonna be here. And when he said it, I was like, damn, like, you right. So now I do my best to either, like, I try to tell people, like, call me, because if you text me, I'm probably not gonna answer the text immediately. It's probably like 40 texts in my phone right now. But if you call me, I'm gonna do my best to like call you back, because like you just said, everybody got an expiration date, and it's real. It's real, and you're on people's mind when they're thinking about you. So
most definitely,
Yeah.
appreciation is the biggest thing I want people to go off this episode.
Yeah.
appreciate this podcast, appreciate the safe space, and black people, like, let's make open dialogue after this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Communicate, call me,
and
call
black
people,
men, like black
anybody.
men, period. I just feel like, I'm not a man, so I don't know exactly what you're feeling, but I definitely feel like y'all need a space, or y'all need an opportunity to allow yourselves to even be this kind of vulnerable amongst each other, or like to tell this part of your story, because I'm like 1,000% sure, like, I don't hear, outside of talking to you two, like, I don't hear any men talking about losing or lost in general, or how it makes them feel.
Because we feel like, as a man, you gotta thug it out.
Yeah.
You gotta tough it
Nobody
along.
cares.
Unless you know somebody personally that's been through it.
Yeah.
And you can kind of somewhat be vulnerable with them.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna say too much about
Yeah,
it. That's why I'm
nah.
glad I got my pops, because my pops kind of sort of went through it with my brother, but
Yeah.
my brother's still here by the grace of God.
Yeah.
I can talk about it with him,
Yeah.
like how it feels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was about to say, because I know, like, with my brothers, yeah, you good? How you doing? But I know, like, with my brothers, I do have, like, them to share this with, right? Like, I can lean on them with that part of it. Like, are you able to lean on, like, you have your brother, like you said, are you able to lean on, like, your siblings, or are you able to lean on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I have somebody that I can talk to, because I feel like they've experienced something that I've experienced.
I get, that's a good question. I
Or
never
have you
really-
guys leaned on each other?
Probably not. But actually, I don't really talk to nobody about it.
Yeah.
And you one of the closest people to me.
Yeah.
No, I don't talk about it at all.
Y'all, yeah, my child, I want this shit could just go some other places. But I'm just saying, like,
Nah.
do you feel like y'all could lean on each other, though?
Nah,
I
most
mean,
definitely.
yeah.
Most definitely.
Like I told him, that's my brother
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
First of all, this is man shit right here. It's got me going, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Nah, but
It's
for real,
uncomfortable
like,
as fuck right now.
when my situation happened, probably like a few weeks later, I think Blair might have called me, and I was like, damn, man, I want to talk to Meek, because he the only one that understand me. He the only one that went through this.
Yeah.
And then I cut Blair out after that. Fuck you, I don't want to talk to you.
Okay.
But that's still
Shout
my
out to
brother
Blair.
too. That's
Okay.
still my brother too.
Shout out to B,
But
man.
at that time, it was just anger. But
Yeah.
I knew at that time the only person who would understand
Where you
was me.
coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you could lean on?
Nah, most definitely. Me and Los done came a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he said, recently, with both of the nephews, birthday party, we've been seeing each other a lot more now. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Open dialogue, he communicating, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean, relaying his feelings. So it made me be a little bit more open and receptive to like
Yeah.
open my feelings. So it kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean? We both went through a very traumatic
Yeah.
situation. So yeah, like. He probably would be one of the only, actually the only person
that
that
you
would,
could talk to
I
about
could
it.
talk to.
That would
Could
truly understand.
Yeah. And I'm just strictly talking about, like, that issue. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
having somebody else to lean on, because I don't know any other man in our group or
Nah,
people
I
that we
mean,
know.
that's what I said. I mean, we've been friends out for a long time. We don't talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it realistically is probably very few times that we even feel comfortable with, like, bringing it up. Like I said, like, it's probably very random where I feel at the moment. So it might be the music or the radio or something about the particular song about my son that will come on in and trigger me. But
Yeah.
normally it's, I don't
Yeah,
really
me
talk
too.
about yeah.
Yeah. Triggering.
We on a Disney cruise. My son, his thing was Toy Story.
Yeah.
He loved You Got a Friend in Me. I even got his tattoo right here. Toy Story.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Wow.
Buzz and Woody. That was his thing.
Yeah, that hard.
So we on a
That is
Disney
hard.
cruise, and you know how they do the shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Toy Story thing come up. Oh, boy, it's like, so I'm with Jay, our kids, and her best friend and her cousin. They
Yeah.
all looking at me. I'm looking at the stage, and then I look down. Everybody just looking at me like,
No,
this nigga crying?
Like, this his favorite
yeah,
movie?
yeah, nigga, I'm
Yeah.
I
crying.
probably would have
Yeah.
bust out crying too.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my shit.
like-
That
Yeah.
was my son shit.
Do y'all get, like, whiffs and, like, can a smell trigger a memory for y'all?
I wouldn't say
Or
necessarily
like
a
sensory,
smell.
not necessarily a smell, but like like you said, you saw like Toy Story like trigger.
Yeah.
It's like songs and it's a smell that kind of triggers me.
It might be certain things that the kids say, or realistic, like I always say, it's the music. Like that Janae Aiko song, come on, I promise you I'll be all right.
Yeah.
That song randomly just pop on, and I'd be like, oh, let me hurry up and skip it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, hurry up. Yeah.
So I don't be want to get emotional breakdown, but yeah, that'll probably be like the only thing that I'd say that's triggering.
Yeah. No, I do. I appreciate y'all for like having this conversation. Like,
Anytime.
Thank y'all. And we're not sad all the time. We're happy.
Most definitely.
I'm not sad at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sad, man. We're just going through life, man.
Yeah,
we're just having life experiences.
Life is
Exactly.
all about progression.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. This is a man thing. Life is all about progression.
Hey,
But
man.
I appreciate y'all so much because this means a lot to me, and because y'all are my friends and my brothers, like I really do appreciate y'all sitting down and being vulnerable and expressing yourselves in ways that I haven't heard from a man before. So thank y'all so much.
We want to welcome any guy, any men out there that just feeling like they need to have an open space, safe space. Come holler at Auntie Byrd, man.
For sure.
And friends. Bye, guys.